Hello and welcome to our latest video, the 10 biggest earthquakes caught on camera. In this video, we will take you on a journey to some of the most devastating earthquakes that have ever been recorded. Earthquakes are one of the most powerful natural disasters on our planet, capable of causing widespread destruction and taking lives in a matter of seconds. Despite the danger they pose, they continue to captivate people with their sheer force and magnitude. The 1985 Mexico City earthquake occurred on September 19, 1985. It was a magnitude 8.1 earthquake that struck Mexico City and the surrounding areas, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The quake lasted for about 5 minutes and caused significant damage to buildings and infrastructure, particularly in the city's densely populated areas. The death toll was estimated to be around 10,000 people, with thousands more injured and left homeless. The earthquake was one of the deadliest and most destructive in Mexico's history, and it led to significant changes in building codes and disaster response procedures in the country. The Loma Prieta earthquake, also known as the 1989 San Francisco earthquake, was a magnitude 6.9 earthquake that struck the San Francisco Bay Area on October 17, 1989. The quake was the largest to hit the area since the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, and it caused widespread damage and devastation throughout the region. The epicenter of the earthquake was located in the Santa Cruz Mountains near Loma Prieta Peak, approximately 60 miles south of San Francisco. The shockwaves from the quake were felt as far away as Nevada, Oregon, and even as far as Los Angeles. The Loma Prieta earthquake resulted in 63 deaths and more than 3,000 injuries. It caused billions of dollars in property damage, including the collapse of the Bay Bridge, which connects San Francisco to Oakland, and the destruction of the Cypress Freeway in Oakland. The earthquake also disrupted the World Series baseball game being held in San Francisco at the time, leading to a 10-day delay in the continuation of the series. The Loma Prieta earthquake was a reminder of the importance of earthquake preparedness and the need for strong building codes and infrastructure to withstand future earthquakes. The 1995 Kobe earthquake, also known as the Great Hanshin earthquake, occurred on January 17, 1995, in the city of Kobe, Japan. The earthquake had a magnitude of 6.9 and resulted in significant damage to the surrounding areas, with the death toll estimated to be over 5,000 people and over 300,000 people displaced from their homes. The earthquake struck in the early hours of the morning and caused widespread damage to buildings and infrastructure, including highways, bridges, and port facilities. The quake also caused fires that spread throughout the city and added to the destruction. The disaster had a significant impact on the economy of the Kobe region and the surrounding areas, with estimates of the total cost of the damage ranging from 100 billion to 200 billion yen. The earthquake was one of the most destructive to hit Japan in recent history and led to significant changes in building codes and disaster preparedness measures, including the implementation of new technologies for early warning systems and improved evacuation procedures. The disaster also prompted the government to launch a massive reconstruction effort, which has helped to revitalize the city of Kobe and its surrounding areas in the decades since the earthquake. The 1999 Izmit earthquake, also known as the Kokili earthquake, struck the city of Izmit and its surrounding areas in northwestern Turkey on August 17, 1999. It had a magnitude of 7.4 on the Richter scale and lasted for about 45 seconds. The earthquake caused widespread damage in the affected areas, with over 17,000 people losing their lives and over 43,000 being injured. Over 500,000 people were left homeless, and many buildings and structures, including homes, schools, and businesses, were destroyed or severely damaged. The disaster had a profound impact on the people of Turkey and led to a significant effort to improve earthquake preparedness and response in the country. The Turkish government, with the help of international aid, worked to rebuild the affected communities, and new building codes and standards were introduced to help prevent similar disasters in the future. The 1999 Izmit earthquake remains one of the deadliest earthquakes in the country's history and serves as a reminder of the importance of being prepared for natural disasters. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami was a catastrophic event that occurred on December 26, 2004. It was caused by a massive undersea earthquake that had a magnitude of 9.1 and was one of the largest earthquakes ever recorded. The quake was centered off the west coast of northern Sumatra, Indonesia, and triggered a series of devastating tsunamis that affected countries bordering the Indian Ocean, including Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand. The tsunamis caused widespread damage, destroying buildings and infrastructure and killing thousands of people. The death toll is estimated to be around 230,000, with many more injured and homeless. The disaster had a significant impact on the region, both in terms of human loss and economic damage, with the cost of the disaster estimated to be in the billions of dollars. In the aftermath of the disaster, there was a large international response, with aid and resources being sent from around the world to help the affected countries. In addition, steps have been taken to improve early warning systems and preparedness for future tsunamis in the region. The 2006 Yogyakarta earthquake was a magnitude 6.3 earthquake that struck the city of Yogyakarta and its surroundings on May 27, 2006. The earthquake caused significant damage and resulted in the deaths of over 6,000 people, with tens of thousands injured and hundreds of thousands left homeless. The earthquake's epicenter was located near the south coast of central Java, near the city of Yogyakarta, and caused damage in several nearby towns and villages. The most severe damage was in the city of Bantul, where nearly 75% of all buildings were destroyed or severely damaged. The earthquake also caused significant damage to infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and airports. The Indonesian government, along with international aid organizations, responded quickly to the disaster, providing emergency relief and assistance to those affected by the earthquake. Despite the efforts of rescuers, however, the death toll from the earthquake was high, and recovery efforts continue to this day. The 2006 Yogyakarta earthquake serves as a reminder of the importance of preparedness and disaster response planning in the face of natural disasters. It also highlights the need for effective building codes and construction practices to minimize the impact of earthquakes on communities. The 2008 Sichuan earthquake, also known as the Wenchuan earthquake, occurred on May 12, 2008 in the Sichuan province of China. It was a magnitude 8.0 earthquake that struck the region with devastating force, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The earthquake's epicenter was in Wenchuan County, Sichuan, and its shock waves were felt across much of central and eastern China. The death toll from the earthquake is estimated to be over 80,000, with hundreds of thousands of people injured and over 5 million people left homeless. In addition to the human toll, the earthquake caused widespread damage to infrastructure and buildings, with entire cities and towns left in ruins. The Chinese government and international aid organizations launched a massive relief effort in the aftermath of the disaster, providing aid and support to those affected. The 2008 Sichuan earthquake was one of the deadliest earthquakes in recent history, and its impact was felt not just in China, but around the world. Despite the loss and suffering, however, the earthquake brought out the best in people, as volunteers and rescue workers from all over the world came together to help those in need. The 2009 L'Aquila earthquake, also known as the Abruzzo earthquake, was a devastating seismic event that struck the region of Abruzzo in central Italy on April 6, 2009. The earthquake had a magnitude of 6.3 on the Richter scale and was centered near the city of L'Aquila, causing widespread damage and loss of life. The quake struck at approximately 3:32 a.m. local time and was felt throughout the region. The earthquake resulted in the deaths of more than 300 people, with thousands more injured and made homeless. Many historic buildings, including churches and castles, were destroyed, and the city of L'Aquila was left in ruins. The quake caused widespread damage to the infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and utilities, making rescue and recovery efforts more difficult. In the aftermath of the earthquake, the Italian government and various international organizations launched a massive relief effort, providing aid, shelter, and support to those affected. The earthquake also led to the creation of a national seismic hazard map of Italy and new building codes aimed at reducing the impact of future earthquakes. The 2010 Haiti earthquake was a devastating natural disaster that occurred on January 12, 2010. The earthquake had a magnitude of 7.0 on the Richter scale and struck the Haiti's capital city of Port-au-Prince and the surrounding areas. It caused widespread damage and destruction, leaving over 200,000 people dead and hundreds of thousands more injured and homeless. The earthquake also severely impacted Haiti's infrastructure, including roads, bridges, buildings, and communication systems, making it difficult for aid to reach those in need. In the aftermath of the earthquake, international aid organizations and governments rushed to provide humanitarian assistance to the affected population. Despite these efforts, the recovery process has been slow and challenging due to a number of factors, including political instability, economic challenges, and lack of resources. Nevertheless, efforts are still ongoing to help Haiti rebuild and recover from the devastating effects of the earthquake. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake was a powerful magnitude 9.0 earthquake that struck the coast of Japan's Tohoku region on March 11, 2011. The earthquake triggered a massive tsunami that caused widespread damage along the coast, including the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. The earthquake and tsunami resulted in over 15,000 deaths and missing people, and left over 100,000 people homeless. The disaster caused significant damage to infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and buildings, making relief and recovery efforts difficult in the affected areas. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, caused by the tsunami's flooding of the nuclear power plant, resulted in releases of radioactive materials and forced the evacuation of thousands of residents living in nearby communities. The disaster remains one of the largest nuclear accidents in history and has had lasting impacts on the environment and local communities in Japan. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami also had global economic impacts, disrupting supply chains and causing a significant decrease in economic activity in Japan and around the world. However, in the years since the disaster, Japan has made significant efforts to rebuild and recover, with communities coming together to support each other in the aftermath of the tragedy.